ॐ नारायणं सुरगुरुं जगदेकनाथं भक्त्यं सकललोकनमस्कृतं च त्रैगुण्यवर्जितमजं विभुमाद्यमीशं वन्दे भवघ्नमरासुरसिद्धवन्द्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं जयो ततो जयमुदीरये देवं नारायणं नत्वा सर्वदोषविवर्जितं परिपूर्णं गुरुं सागीतार्थं वक्ष्यामि लेशतः लक्ष्मीनारायणं नत्वा पूर्णबोधां गुरूनपि कुर्म श्रीकृष्णगीतायाः भाष्यादुक्तार्थसङ्ग्रहम् हरिः ओम्. I think we will chant from the beginning, Shraddhaji. Harihi Om Atha Panchadashodhyayah
अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः।
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच।
Urdhvamoolamadha Shakam
ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम्
Ashwatham Prahuravvyayam
अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्।
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि
छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि
यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्.
यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्।
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः
अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः
गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः
गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः।
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके।
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते।
नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा
नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा।
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम्
अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम्
असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा
असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा।
ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम्
ततः परं कृष्ण ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम्।
यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः
यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः।
तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये
तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये।
यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी
यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी।
निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषाः
निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषाः
अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः
अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः।
द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसञ्ज्ञैः
द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्
गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययम् तत्
गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययम् तत्।
पदमव्ययम् तत्.
पदमव्ययम् तत्।
न तद्भासयते सूर्यो
न तद्भासयते सूर्यो
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
तद्धाम परमं मम।
तद्धाम परमं मम।
ममैवांशो जीवलोके
ममैवांशो जीवलोके
जीवभूतः सनातनः
जीवभूतः सनातनः।
मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि
मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि
प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति।
प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति।
Krishna Krishna. I think we have to see the previous one, right? Shloka number 6. Natad
Yeah.
bhasayate surya nashashanko. We will look into that, this one shloka, Sadhajita. Hari Om. Natad bhasayate surya
न तद्भासयते सूर्यः
nashashanko na pavakaha
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
yadgatva na nivartante
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
tadhama paramam mama.
तद्धाम परमं मम।
Krishna. Let's look at the Padacheda and maybe the Anvaya of this shloka.
न तद्भासयते सूर्यः न शशाङ्कः न पावकः यत् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तत् धाम परमं मम. Go to the Anvaya. Do we go through the word by word meaning?
You can.
So we can go through the dictionary only, right?
You can directly go to the dictionary.
Yeah. Yat, which, gatva, having gone, reached, na nivartante, do not return, tat, that, mama, my, paramam, dhama, the highest status, tat, that, na suryah, neither sun, bhasayate, illumines, न शशाङ्कः nor moon न पावकः nor fire.
So he's telling Natad bhasayate surya. Neither the sun is illuminating that, is illuminating that, is providing the light to that. Natad bhasayate surya, natad bhasayate shashankah, or the moon is illuminating that. Na pavakah, natad bhasayate. Neither nor does the pavaka, the fire, illuminate that Paramadhama, that his place. So whatever has been spoken about in the last couple of shlokas about some Paramadhama, right? Padamavyayam tat he says just in the previous shloka, Gachanti amudhaha tat avyayam padam, that unchangeable padam. Now he's telling Krishna, he's now describing the kind of see this entire thing we have to understand. What's the last question coming from Arjuna? What's that? Ke Lingai Stream Gunaneta. What shloka is that, Sadaji? Sadaji? Arjuna Uvacha. Kerlingai Strin Gunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Himachara Katham Chaitan Trin Gunanati Vartate. So there are how many questions are here from Arjuna? What are the questions? One is Kerlingaihi Trin Gunan Etan Atitah Bhavati. There is one question. What are the gunas? What are the signs of Gunatita? So I think we heard a lot about it. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava nadveshi sampravrittani na nivrittani kamchati. Whether it's a prakashakara karya or a pravrittikara karya or a mohamaya karya, whatever be the type of a karya, prakashakara, which is a sattvika, pravrittikara, or which is a rajasika, or mohaka, which is the tamasika, whatever. Sampravrittani nadveshti, you don't really have anything to complain when it increases. Na nivrittani kanchiti, and there is nothing to kind of feel missing when that's not happening. Udasina vadasinaha, one who is seated like udasina. Udasina is ut asina, right? One we look at it as indifferent, lazy, indifferent udasina, but udasina can be that ut asina, upari. We have to utkrista, like one high pedestal observation. Udasina vadasina gunehi yahana vichalyate. Who doesn't get swayed away, vichalit, by the gunas. Gunehi yahana vichalyate. Guna vartanta ityeva yo avatishtati. He just keeps quiet, saying that it's all the gunas that is progressing, spread everywhere. Nengate, and doesn't get ingate, like doesn't go low, ever again. Samadukha sukha swastha, one who's sama. So that's the that these are the lingaihi. Lingaihi are the indicators, right? Chinna. Some indicators, some characteristic, identity. Hey, lingaihi. How does he look like? The gunatitattva. So sama dukkha sukha swastaha. He is equal for sukha dukkha and swastaha, healthy, and swestitaha. Right? He's all up to himself. He's all fine to himself. Samalostashma kanchanaha. Doesn't really differentiate between mud, stone, gold. Tulya priya priyo dhiraha, who is happy with priya apriya activities, and dhira, who's got enough buddhi and ira, shakti, right? Dhira, tulya nindatma samstuti. These are the signs of a gunatitattva, who's happy with ninda or atma samstuti. Either somebody is praising him or pulling him down. Ninda atma samstuti. Ninda is basically criticism, right? And atma samstuti, praising. मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः. So you are balanced in mana apamana, which is insults and praises, or good name or bad name, and you are indifferent, balanced in mitra paksha aripaksha, in a friendly group or a not so friendly group. Right? Sarvarambha parityagi, sarvarambha parityagi, basically kama sankalpa varjita. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa. This is what we learned in the Jnana Yoga, right? Sarvarambha parityagi, who doesn't have any expectation, no self vested in any activity. Gunatita saha uchyate. He is the Gunatita. After that comes the second question. What's the second question? Kimacharaha. Kimacharaha. This Trin Gunanati Vartati. Saha Kimacharaha. Etan Trin Gunanati Vartati. By doing what activities does he overcome these three gunas or become Gunatita? Simple thing. Mam cha yog yabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. This is the activity. Sagotityetam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the one who goes to achieve that brahma bhuti, right? Kalpate, basically I resolve, I need to go there. Brahma bhuyaya, for the sake of the brahma bhuti. Like, I need to. Now, I don't know what it is. Most of us don't know what it is. Right? What's the Brahma Bhuti? At least we need to have that desire. The minute we hear the word Brahma, see, Brahma is that big thing. All of us want to be that big thing, right? At the end of the day, the whole society is around the one-upmanship, plenty of one-upmanship. But yeah, we have to aim to attain that Brahma Bhuti, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So this is the second question, right? Kimacharaha, the Gunatita Vartate, like, doing what activities will he become Gunatita? Simple answer, you know, Mamchayo Vyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate. One who, without any adharmika activities, Avyabhicharena, Mamchayo Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena, constantly in the unconditional offering, right? Bhakti Yogena. Bhakti Yogena Sevate. Sevate is two-way, right? We also do Sevan and we also do Seva. we also take prasada, right? Every seva has a prasada. So there is a seva and sevan. Like we enjoy that. Saguna samatityaita. He is the person who automatically in that state you will become gunatita. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. You take that kalpana, that sankalpa, to be one with that Brahma, be in sync with that Brahma. That's the Brahmi Bhuti. Brahmi Bhuti, I think we have plenty to learn, right? From the fifth chapter, right from where he says, Brahmanya dhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapakena padmapatramivambhasa. All the way till न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नो द्विजेत् प्राप्य च प्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः. That Brahmi Sthiti, that Brahma Bhuti, all the way to the Brahma Nirvana Sthiti, right? The one that comes in that fifth chapter. We saw that in detail there, right? And unfortunately, despite being told about Brahma Sthiti and things like that, not many times we really get an idea. So he goes on to explain, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. That Brahmi Bhuti. So in this chapter, the Brahma is earlier to this referred to the Mahat Brahma. Mamayo Nirmahat Brahma. So this chapter, but this is essentially a continuation to the 14th chapter. Like the 15th chapter, where we hear Urdhvamula Mada Shakam. Essentially, he is basically telling what are the activities that Arjuna is asking, right? What are the activities of a person who overcomes these gunatita, who becomes gunatita, not overcomes the gunatita, but becomes. I think the last week I continuously said overcoming gunatita. I think I put two adjectives, two negatives there. Nonetheless, so this is essentially continuation. The 15th chapter is essentially continuation. How to do the bhakti. In the 15th chapter also, the penultimate shloka is about, Yomame vamasam modho. What's that? What's that last shloka? Yomame vamasam modho. What's that shloka? Janati purushottamam.
Chaturpuruषोत्तमम्
Correct.
स
Sa
सर्वविद्भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत.
all the way till that shloka, it's all about the bhakti bhava, right? How to develop that. And that supreme tattva of the Bhagavan is what is presented here in this chapter, right? And in that Brahmi Sthiti, for the fact that this life has this Ashwatha, right? Chandamsi, Achadana. There are multiple layers of decorations. I mean, Chandas is a very nice word, no? It's basically when we see the Chandas in the poetry, there is a lot of covering that happens. All the poems, they get some kind of a decoration upon them just by the way they are worded. Like this Anushtup, everything has 8 letters. Urdhva Madha Shakam. Like you count the number of letters, all 888. Ashwatham Prahuravyayam, all 8 8. So plenty of basically the minute we get some chandas, there is some decoration happening. And this Ashwatha tree has plenty of this chandas. Chandana, Chandasu, all these things. So Chanda, in Kannada, when you say Chanda, it is very, very beautiful, nicely decked up, right? Very cleanly. Alankara. Alankara is also, so even in the grammar, the Alankara and Chandas are quite interchangeably used, right? When we see. So this word has too much of this beautification. We can't overcome that. And this is all Guna Pravrittaha, this tree of life, been very nicely explained. This is all Guna Pravritta tree. Because the Mula that he is talking about himself, about Krishna, it is the foundation of that Mahat Brahma. Mahat Brahma is from where we are all born. Mamayo nirmahat Brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarva bhutana tato bhavati bharata. That Mahat Brahma for which he is the foundation. He is the foundation for the man. That Mahat Brahma is the big, Garbha that has given birth to everything. It's the Avyakta Garbha from which Chaturmukha Brahma has created this entire creation. within that is the Mula Prakriti, right? That Mahat Tattva itself is the Mula Prakriti. Within that comes the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. No, Sattvam, Rajas, Tamas, Guna, Prakriti, Sambhava, Vibadnanti, Mahabahu. And then he goes on to explain that. So, when we understand this, this is all explaining the kind of behavior that is needed. Nirmana Moha, Jita Sanga Dosha, all of that. You know, it's a complete city. So, Adhyatma Nitya, Vinivritta Kama, all that behavior that is needed, those attitudes, the traits that we need to develop to be able to do what he had asked us to do. No, Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva, no, Narupamasyeha Tathopalabhyate. Now, the third and the fourth sloka, they properly talk about what we need to do. One sloka talks about the complete karma yoga. That karma yoga is simple as that, right? Just close your eyes and do your duty. You know, karmajya yohya karmana. He says, keep doing your work. Right? Karma, your duty is always better than akarma. Keep doing that. And do that for the sake of yajnartha karma. Right? That is what we need to be doing. Keep on doing action till the end of till the last day. Right? That's what we need to keep doing. So to be in that state, we need to offer ourselves. That's what comes in the fourth chapter. Understand the real Paratattva, the real thing that is right at the top. That was explained at the end of the third chapter, right? Manasastu parabuddhi yo buddhehe paratastu saha. There are quite a few interpretations where the saha, while some interpretations call that thing as kama, some call that that saha, that pronoun as the atma, some call it as the paramatma, right? The supreme atma. Right? And because it's called Paramasattva, the ultimate Paramasattva. And here he is explaining that from which the Mahat has come, right? That Urdhva Moolam, that's the Moola, that's the root of everything. Adha Shakam, everything else is just a Shaka under that. This Ashwatha is the Avyaya tree, Vriksha. See, a lot of these things, right? Vriksha has that Vruddhyati, Kshiyate. There is always a growth and a decay, right? Ashwatha na eka prakarena shvaha tishtati. Doesn't remain the same tomorrow. Always changing. Avyayam. And that's the truth. That's the unchanging truth. Chandamsi yatya parnami. These leaves. Leaves are where the fruits of life come from, right? The two leaves when they come together. And there are many layers of such leaves. Chandamsi. They just beautify. No, Chanda is also that. Like for example, there are these some of these WhatsApp viral videos, right? Some different looking person with a lot of makeup will be made to appear extremely attractive. A lot of layers of makeup. Chandamsi. This jivana, this prakriti also is like that. Maya, that mama maya duratyaya, he says, right? Extremely difficult. And extremely difficult because many a times we don't know whether we are erring in our judgment. At the end of the day, Bhagavanta, I think when he says karyati hyavashah karma sarva prakriti jairgunai, avashah, vasha is that captivity, right? He avashah, is that Bhagavad Vachaka, aksharana akarosmi, right? So akara is always the Bhagavad Vachaka. When you say avashah, Bhagavan's vasha, prakrite vashat, everyone. When you look at all the animals, right? I mean, if you have a pet, the pet is if a dog or cat, the minute they kind of upset their stomach, they know it. They just eat the grass. They have that design, right? That Brahma Vidya. When the young calf is born, it can easily recognize the food. It can recognize the udder, right? It can follow the udder. Nobody has to teach the calf. Beta, this is the udder. No, this is where you get the milk. Nobody has to tell that, right? The calf can automatically stand up on its feet and just follows the mother. In us, we don't even know who the mother is. So everything we are dependent on somebody to show us, right? So we are the ones who can go against the design. Like when we are sick, also, even when we have uh, become addicted to obesity, we don't go back to the health, lifestyle correction. Like in Hyderabad, I mean, I have learned recently there is something called the bariatric, because they directly cut the size of your stomach. Like, they just close the, tighten. They just lock one part of the stomach so that your stomach capacity becomes low. Right? You can't take too much. So we are fueling this vasana because of these vasanas, right? We are the only ones who have the freedom, and we end up doing that. Things that are not right for us. All the animals, they have the Brahma Jnana. So they all know their food. We have no clue about our food. Even after these many years, we still we don't know whether we are vegetarians, non-vegetarians. We don't know what we are. When we look at our scriptures, the extreme yogis, Vatasana, Vatasana, Yahrishayah, Shramana, Urvamanthina. So these are the extreme yogis, right? Vatasana. So they just subsist on air, like Ajagara Vritti. The snake also is supposed to be Vatasana, right? Harana Aharana. They say snake's food. A good way of describing snakes, Ahara, is Harana Aharana. That's actually Vayudeva. Vayudeva is the Ahara for the snake, right? So, I mean, we can eat endlessly, right? And we are the ones who can. So our vasanas are so strong, and we think this is end of it. Like, we tend to label ourselves. Oh, I am this intolerant. I am that intolerant. I can't take this. I can't take that. Essentially, these are all vasanas, different vasanas. Even for those people who can't eat, say, non-vegetarian. If you are in the desert land, you don't have any other food around you, right? If you need to survive, there is a very beautiful golden cow. I think that's what I think that's what I had read somewhere. I don't know whether it's some religion. That's the description of killing the cow or something like that. If you're in the desert and you don't have anything, not like in a place like India where we have plenty of good food to eat. When I say good, as harmless as possible, right? Maybe the fallen fruits. That's enough, right? And the cow gives milk. That's a very good food. Cow, it happily gives a lot of milk, right? So we have a lot of good food. But nonetheless, right, the point is about the Adaha Urdhva. There is a Urdhva Moola and there is a Adaha Moola. Sorry, I said Adaha Urdhva. I think it's Adaha Moola. There are two Moola, right? This Ashwatha tree has root at the top, which is the Brahma Moola. Adaha, Urdhva Moola, Madha Shakam, right? Ashwatha Prahu Abhyayam. This tree, essentially, which is signified by its constant change. Vridhyati, Chiyate, iti vrikshaha. It's simple. Right? There is always a growth, there is always a decay. Something. Right? Vridhyati, Chiyate. Right? And there will, at the end of the day, there is a uh, Janana, Marana. Between the two ends of the existence, the Vyakta existence, right? The Vyakta city. Between the two ends, there is always a Vridhi, there is always a Chiya. Right? And there is always a Parinama, there is always a Asti. Together becomes the Vashatkara, right? With 6 actions. But Vruddhyati Kshiyate Vrukchaha, that's the symbolism. And Ashwataha, the way some of the descriptions come in these slokas, Urdhamula, Madha Shakam, they are more like Negrodhodumbara. These three always come together. Negrodhodumbaro, Shvattasthanu, Ramtranishudana, Sahasrati, Saptadihva, Saptaitha, Saptavahana. We hear them, right, in the Vishnu Sahasranama. So these names come together, but Ashwatha doesn't really look like this. Urdhamula, Madha Shakam. They are pretty much a little different. But the name is significant, right? Na Shwaha Eka Prakarina Tishtati. Doesn't tomorrow stay the same way. Right? It keeps changing. That is life, right? When we look at the Bhagavad-Gita, the beginning of Bhagavad-Gita is a massive change. Nobody expected Bhishmacharya ji to fall. No, who knew Bhishmacharya would fall? Right? Nobody expected that. He's the Ichhamaran, and he fell for who? Shikandi of all the people. No, Nahato Jamadagnyena Sahatodya Shikhandina. That's the way Sanjaya is explaining to Dhritarashtra what happened in the war. And that's how we begin the Bhagavad Gita Upaparva, right? About 12 chapters before the Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra happened. And even this chapter, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra, when that inquiry continues from Dhritarashtra, right? How did Bhishmacharya fall? That's what took us to the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. When Sanjaya narrates on the day one, when these two armies lined up, the the Pandavas started very confidently. The way the sound of the conches came out, Sashabdo Tumulo Bhavatu, like, Nabashcha, Prithivim Chaiva, Tumulo Vyanunadayan, something like that, very nicely. The sound of the Pandava bugles, they come out, they come like piercing the hearts of the Duryodhana and his friends, right? Very, very auspicious. But suddenly, we see the Palayana kind of an idea coming to Arjuna that he has never done. Even as a 7-year-old, he jumped into the water, to save Dronacharya. Even uncalled in the Virata war, he went to save Uttara Kumara. Right? He never does that. Even after this, Abhimanyu goes, there is no Palayana for Arjuna. Right? This is the odd moment. Things can change. Na shvaha eka prakarena tishtati. Things can flip in a moment. When the first chapter begins, it is Duryodhana who is completely shaken up. Right? He jumps off the chariot. The commander in chief is Bhishmacharya, goes to Drona instead, and start sarcastically pointing, look at your Sishya, like, Sishyena, Tava Sishyena Dhimata, Dharta Rashtrana, like, by this Drishtadyumna, look at the way he is forming the Drupada Putrena, right? Look at the way that Drupada Putra, your Shishya, the one who you train, and he is born in a yajna to kill you, right? That's Drishtadyumna, right? So he is coming, and who taught him all his warfare? You only, right? And it goes on to taunt Bhishmacharya, right? He is not good. All of you, please, from your respective positions, please save him, right? And then that's when Bhishmacharya blows the conch. So there is a lot of nervy moments on the Duryodhana side as well. And Arjuna starts very, very confidently, but suddenly he breaks down unexpectedly, right? People who are Atirata Maharathas, Atra Shura, Maheshwasa, all of that, different warriors. Suddenly he started looking at them as, Acharya, Pitara, Putra, Pautra, Tyala, Sambandina, Ethan, Hantumichami. I don't like to kill them. Right? He suddenly develops that. It's a change. Na Shwaha Eka Prakarena Tishtati. That's Ashwatha. And within that there is Guna Pravriddhi, Ahankara comes, you know, Adaha Mulani Anusantatani, that's the vasanas. That's those are the imprints. Instead of recognizing them as vasanas, we think this is what we are. Oh, so this guy has got a sweet tooth. What do you do? Somebody has a sweet tooth, keep feeding him sweet. that's uh, that's what happens most often today. Like in the woke society, if we identify some vasanas, instead of suggesting corrective measures, uh, you know, upfront telling them that this is a vasana, right? We need to recognize them. So if I have, see, if I don't like light, isn't that strange, right? Somebody just want to stay secluded in darkness throughout. You know, what if I have some allergy to light? I'm sure somebody will come up with something like that, and society will tolerate them instead of suggesting them, okay, this is the vasana, and overcoming the vasanas are not easy. Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye yoginah karma kuruvanti. Right? The fifth chapter. What's that? Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindriyairapi yoginah karma kuruvanti. Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. For the sake of atma shuddhi is what yogis do the work, not for any other work. Right? And in that state that they attain, what is the sthiti they enter? They enter the Brahmi sthiti. That is the Parama Divya Dhama, Tadhama Paramam Mama. What is the nature of the Dhama? Yadgatva na nivartante. Once you hit that point, there is no return. Return back to Dvandva Moha. Basically that. When you look at the Moha, quite often they are not, it's the Dvandva Moha, confusion. Right? This or that or this or that. Arjuna displayed that so nicely. First thing, how can I kill them? So, Yadva Jayema Yadivano Jayehu. Now, I don't know whether this or that. Is it killed or is it better to kill them? What kind of logic, right? He doesn't know. And then that continues. Oh, jayate karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Oh, I get to know that, you tell buddhi yoga is better than karma yoga. But then why are you engaging with this, in this karma, ghora karma, like, tat kim karmani ghore ma, priyo jayasi keshava, something like that, right? And continues, like, is karma better or sannyasa better? He keeps on asking this or that, always dvandva moha. That paramadhama, there is no return back, right? Yadgatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. The nature of the dhamma is na suryaha bhasayate, na tat suryaha bhasayate. He is the Abhasa, right? Abhasa, no, Eva, O, something like that. There is a Brahma Sutra. He is the Abhasa. Sarva Indriya Guna Abhasa, he is, right? That's what we heard in 13th chapter. Sarvendriya Guna Abhasa. But Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. He doesn't have any, no, any Indriya by himself. He doesn't have any organ by himself, right? The Bhagavan, right? The ultimate Brahma. But he is the Guna Bhasa. Abhasa. He is the one who has powered everything, light up everything. So, Yontah sukhontararamasthathantar jyotirevayah. We don't need light from anywhere. Very similar, right? There is some inspiration to, I think, Adi Shankara. There's something called the Ekashlok. Kim jyotistava bhanumana me ratro pradipadikam. Like, what is that gives us light, right? This is very similar to the conversation between Janaka and Yajnavalkya, right? There is a conversation happening between these two in terms of what gives light. I think in the Brihadaranyaka somewhere there is this conversation happening between the two, saying one Janaka and Yajnavalkya, what gives us light? No, Surya. Basically, our light is when the Ahani, it's the Surya who gives us the light. Right? When the Surya goes down, it's the Chandra, Shashanka. That is. And when neither of them are present, it's the Pavaka, the fire that gives. Now the conversation is when even that is missing. What gives us the light? Bhasayate. No, that's the Atma, right? That's the Yontah sukhontararamah tathantar jyotirevayah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhigacchati. That's the Brahma Bhuti, where you find the Antar Jyoti, right? You don't have to look at anywhere else. That's the Paramadhama, Brahma Bhutodhigacchati, right? So he's now, see, this is the second question being answered. After giving very beautiful description about the identifications of a Brahmatita Purusha, right? Manapamanayo tulya, tulyo mitrari pakshayo, sarvarambha parityagi, gunatita sa uchyate, right? All the beautiful descriptions of the Gunatita, the identification, no, lingai. Now, kim acharaha, bhakti. In that bhakti, our understanding of the Bhagavan is very important. Right? This Paramadhama is where I am not dependent on anywhere else. And he goes on to explain, I think the next four shlokas are very brilliant. We look at the next four shlokas, Shraddhaji. Mamaivamsho jiva loke
ममैवांशो जीवलोके
jiva bhuta sanatanaha
जीवभूतः सनातनः
manah sashthani indriyani
मनः षष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि
prakritisthani karshati.
प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति.
Let's see quickly the Padacheda and the Anvaya for this.
Mama, my, eva, only, anshah, fragmental part, jiva loke, in the material world, jiva bhutah, jiva bhutaah, the embodied souls, sanatanah, eternal, manah, with the mind, shashthani, the six, indriyani, senses, prakriti sthani, bound by material nature, karshati, struggling. We'll go to the Anvaya. So, जीवलोके मम सनातनः अंशः एव जीवभूतः प्रकृतिस्थानि मनः षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि कर्षति.
And what does that mean?
So, it is an internal portion of me that becomes the jiva in the world of living creatures and cultivates the subjective powers of Prakriti, mind, and the five senses.
That's how the Aurobindo interpretation is, right?
Yeah.
Mama eva amshaha jivaloke. It's all my amsha in this jivaloka. Jiva bhutaha, you said jiva bhutaha. I think there are a couple of questions. Jiva bhutaha sanatanaha jivaha. Mama eva amshaha. The sanatana jiva bhuta are my own amsha in this jivaloka. Right? Manaha sasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Right? And it cultivates the subjective powers of Prakriti, mind, and the senses. This is beautiful on multiple counts. This Karshati can be cultivates the subjective powers. Right? When you look at the dictionary, Karshati cultivates. This is very beautiful, very very nice word because Krishi Karya is also cultivation, right? Krishi. We we actually get the word Krishna. We normally think it's all because it's black, black, black. Of course it is. Black is also one which also does the karshati, which also cultivates. And we can delve on that point sometime later. But this karshati is basically the krishi karya that he does. Right? He is the one who cultivates everything. That's why he's called Krishna. There is some portion, some Purana, I think Padma Purana. Yato karshasi devesha niyamya sakalam jagat tato vadanti munayah. No, Krishnam Tvam Brahmavadinah, something like that. Some Purana it comes defining why they call you Krishna. Because you do the Krishi Karya, the Karshana, the cultivation. Sankarshana, Akarshana are little extended forms of the same Karshana, the Karshati. Right? Sankarshana is the Laya Tattva, the Rudra Rupi Tattva. Right? Akarshana is the very attraction, Kritos, like, the very loving person, right? He is the one who does the karshati. Manaha sasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Right? Manaha will try to do the cultivation of this prakritisthani indriyani. Right? It tries to. So basically, he's studying what he mentioned in the 10th chapter. That bhutana masmi chetana. Right? Indriyana manaschasmi bhutana masmi chetana, he says. I am the chit, the Chaitanya Shakti in inside everyone. And now he's telling all Jiva Bhutas are especially my own Amsha, are essentially my own Amsha. And I have given them this my Prakriti Sthani, right? That in the Prakriti, which is Gunabadha Prakriti. These, this is all defined in the same Prakriti, right? We have been hearing since the 13th chapter. Prakritim Purusham Prakritischaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikarancha Gunanschaiva, something like that, right? Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. We hear about the Prakriti Purusha very briefly in the 13th chapter and very elaborate on the 14th chapter, but essentially it's the same thing being discussed in the 15th chapter. These four chapters are very tightly together, 13, 14, 15, 16. Essentially, when we see in most versions, there is only one question from Arjuna. In this entire 4 chapters put together, there is one shloka for Arjuna. Right? That's the Kailingai Sri Gunaneta Natito Bhavati Prabhu. Very few versions have another thing, which is the beginning of the 13th chapter. Right? Prakritim Purusham Chaiva, Kshetram Kshetrajnameva cha, Etad Veditumicchami, Jnanam Jneyam cha Keshava. That's just one. Otherwise, these four chapters, so the one question that Arjuna has is this: Kerlinga is Tuyam Gunanita Natito Bhavati Prabhu. Three questions. What are the indications of Gunatita? What activities does he do as a Gunatita? And how does he manage to do that? First time Krishna says Shastram iti guhyatamam shastramidamuktam mayanaga. We will see that later. Right? That understanding the Daiva Asura is very, very important. But what we need to do, how is it possible to offer that avyabhichari dharmika bhakti towards Bhagavan, through which I can achieve all that mana pamadayo tulyaha mitrari pakshayohu sarvaram parityagi, that kind of a makeup, outlook about myself. How do I attain that? How is it possible? That Shastra is where we get into the next chapter. Right now we are looking at how. So in that, one main thing is to understand who is the Supreme Bhagavan. Mama eva amshaha jiva roki, jiva bhuta sanatana. Me being the Chetana Shakti behind everyone, I am the big entity who's one amsha. He is the one who is there in everyone, right? Samam Pashyan hi sarvatra, samavasthitam Ishwaram, some avasthitam Ishwaram. He is there everywhere and very nicely, very equally. No, nirdosham hi samam brahma, tasma brahmani te sthitaha. At Brahma Bhuti Sthiti is the situation where we recognize everything is nirdosha and sama Brahma. Today we have the habit of blaming. Oh God, why did you do this to me? But we have to come to that level of samya like Bhishmacharya, on his deathbed, he's recognizing Shikandi as a Bhagavad Rupa. Ishto Vishishtaha Shishteshtaha Shikandi, Sho Vrishaha, Krodha, Krodha, Krodha. All the Krodha is hung, all shut. Krodha, Krodha Kritkarta, Vishwabahur Mahesh. So the way he looks at even, that's the level of Samya Bhava. My single most cause for downfall. And Bhishma doesn't like that. He's completely handicapped, right? Helplessly, he can't do anything else, but he does the stuti. And that's what he would do, right? He would do the Krishna stuti, Jayostu Pandu Putranam. He would sing that every day. So when he gets up all the 9, 10 days of the Kurukshetra where he fought, they would do all their early morning sankhya. When they do that, they will be wishing for the victory of the Pandavas. But no less, display of the prowess when on the field, right? Every day, one minimum Anikini Sainya being smashed, individually, single-handedly by Bhishmacharya. And in a course of those 9 days that he fought, he finished off almost one Akshohini. One complete Akshohini Sainya was handled by him, right? Bhishmacharya. Right? So all of these are one Amsha. And they are the supreme Amsha, but they are attracted to this Guna. Right? Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasadyoni Janmasu. And they take up that Sangha and they take birth in this Sat Asat Yoni Janma. So the good and the bad Janma. That's what we heard in the 13th chapter. No. Purushaha Sukha Dukkhana Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. And he is the Guna, Prakritistaha, Bhumte Prakriti Jan Guna. That's the definition of the Purusha, right? We saw in the 13th chapter. Right? He has this Manaha and Indriyani. Prakritisthani, they are rooted in the nature, which is all Guna Pravritti. And Karshati. Karshati is they get attracted to the different Vishayas. They are struggling. They are lapsing into dissolution. Akarshati, Sankarshati, Karshati is such a beautiful. And Krishna's Adhina. He's Krishna. He's the ultimate Karshati, right? He's the ultimate source of Yato Karshati Devesh. That's what the Munis were telling him in the Purana. He's the ultimate one. And so when we get that feeling, we are obviously under his adhina in the Brahmi Bhuti, when we really understand this particular shloka. Right? And then he continues to talk more about this next four shlokas. I think this one, the eighth one, ninth and the 10th. These four slokas are complete Brahmibhuti, that single state, how to imagine the Brahma. He says, the next sloka, Shariram Yadavapnoti
शरीरं यदवाप्नोति
Yachapyutkramati Ishvaraha
यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः
Grihitvaitani Sanyati
गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति
Ayurgandhani Vashayat.
वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात्.
Let's see the Padacheda and Danvaya.
Shariram, the body, yat, as, avapnoti, carries, yat, as, cha api, also, utkramanti, leaves, Ishwarah, Lord of the material body, the embodied soul, grihitva, taking, aitani, these, sanyati, goes away, vayuhu, the air, gandhan, fragrance, eva, like, ashayat, from seeds. Vayu
Not
ashayat
able.
gan vayuhu ashayat gandhan iva ईश्वरः अपि यत् शरीरम् उत्क्रामति यत् अवाप्नोति च एतानि गृहीत्वा संयाति. So according to Aurobindo, when the Lord takes up this body, he brings in with him the mind and the senses. And in his going to fourth to, casting away the body, he goes taking them as the wind takes the perfumes from a vase.
When the Lord takes up this body, he brings in with him the mind and the senses, and in his going forth too, he goes taking them as the wind takes the basic akarshita manaha sasthani indriyani. See, manas is also the sixth indriya. Right? It's sometimes called the sixth indriya, sometimes it's called the 11th indriya, ekadasha indriya, because at that time manas is also counted along with the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas. We have five of each, right? We have five jnanendriyas, all that, eyes, nose, tongue, skin, right? These are the five. Gandha, rasa, rupa, sparusha, sparsha, shabda. These are the five tanmatras experience. To experience which we have these five unique indriyas, right? Jnanendriyas. And then we have the karmendriyas, like the hand, feet, one for action, one for movement, one for excretion, one for reproduction, like one for talk, like, walk, so we have, and this, we have, like,
Bhartaji, you are not audible.
am I not audible now?
Yeah, now it's better, but it's little breaking.
One moment, let me cancel my. It's audible now, Shraddhaji?
Yes, Ji, now it's good.
I just cancelled my Wi-Fi. Okay. So Vayuhu Ashayat Gandhan Iva. Just like how the Vayu does for the Gandha from their respective seeds, fragrance places, right? Maybe it could be in the flower. Like, the flower is where the fruit, the flowers, uh, you know, have their fragrance left. But when you pluck the flower away, when you move as a wind, you also take the fragrance away from their ashayas, like, from their respective location. Ishvara ati yat shariram utkramati yat avapnoti. And similarly, this Ishvara also, whichever sharira it takes over, or leaves or take over, utkramati ya avapnoti cha, etani grihitva sanyati, takes all of these and goes. What are all of these? The ones that are mentioned in the previous shloka. Manaha Sasthani Indriyani, which are basically getting attracted. Right? What it's telling is that our karma phala are with us. It will take, but it doesn't belong to it. The Atma, Ishvara, that Jivatma, that is actually the Shuddha Tattva. Right? It's only getting associated with this guna. And this association with guna becomes its reason for Sat Asat Yoni Janma. Right? And it carries all of this, just like how the Vayu. See, Vayu is a beautiful example. Vayu, the natural guna of Vayu is sparsha. Right? When you look at like how Shabda is for Akasha, Sparsha is for Vayu, the Drishti, right? That is for the Tejas, right? Uh, then the Rasa, right? So Rasa is for the Aap, Rasoham Apsu, that's what it is, Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya, Punyo Gandha Prithivyam Cha, he is the Gandha in the, so Gandha is the Tattva, the Guna of Prithvi, Punyo Gandha Prithivyam Cha. But Vayu, whose natural Guna is Sparsha, so Sparsha gets entangled to Vayu. But Vayu can transport the Gandha. Balavan Vayu, right? We call it. Ashayat Gandhaniva. So this Ishvara doesn't have anything to do with these activities. But when we leave, he takes away these. All the good work that we do, he takes. When we say Gandha, there is a qualifier that Krishna uses. Punyo Gandha. Not just any Gandha. Only Punyo Gandha Prithivyam Cha. That is the Ishvara Tattva. When he talks about his para apara prakriti in that chapter, in the seventh chapter, he goes on to say, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu. In the same stretch, he goes to explain, Punyo gandha prithivyam cha. I am that punya gandha. So when we look at this sloka, I think a lot of Vyakyanakaras also mention it's not just any gandha vashayat avapnuti, grihitva sanyati, it's only the punya gandha, right? So this Ishvara, the Urdhva Mula, the one that we are talking about, right? The Parabrahma, he doesn't have any association with all of these activities. Achamam karmani limpanti. No, all that none of these activities, none of these karma phala have any bearing with the Ishvara. But he carries the good work. The good work, the things that come out well are an offering to Idam Namama, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. When we add, see, in this yajna, which starts from the Adi Purusha, Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye we say, no? Third, fourth sloka. Yatah Pravrittihi Prasrita Purani. Yena Sarvamidam Tatam is something that we keep hearing. We heard it in the second chapter. Avinashita Tadvidhi Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. Right? The eighth chapter also we heard. From whom all of this has come out. Right? What's that? Purushasya parah partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Different places we keep praising that yatah pravrittihi prasiddha purani, from whom all of this has come out. That Adi Purusha. Right? Tam prapadye. That's the path. So this entire life, this yajna karma, is basically a successive efforts of different people who contributed for the welfare of the mankind. That's why we have inherited what we have inherited. Compared to any species and within our nation, different nations, there are different levels of mastery when it comes to our adaptation to the society. And we keep adapting. And that's primarily yoga. Some of them are going in the extreme. There is a corrective measure we need to bring in that side, but eventually yoga is that. Right? So Ishvaraha, all the good things that we do, Ishvaraha etani grihitva sanyati. It is only the good things get added. Today, after some time, I think mankind will forget all the bad translations of say Bhagavad-Gita. Right? There are so many people who keep writing. Only the good ones shine. They get continued forward to the progeny, right? And it keeps adding. Similarly, there could be many tools that would have come to serve the same purposes. So handful of them remain, some of them perish. If that technology itself is deemed redundant, even that will die. Or within an existing technology, the ones who are really doing well are the ones who continue to remain. This is all Ishvara Tattva. All the good things remain with Ishvara. Because at the end of the day, this entire life, life is a yajnartha karma. We are all doing work. None of them are what the animal kingdom can equate with, right? They can't equate with what we do. We have a different rules-based life. So we need to understand this Ishvara Tattva. Gunatita, when we remain the Gunatita, so when we offer ourselves to the Bhagavad Karya, we have to understand that every minute we live, that's what Arjuna got scared, right? Yachapahasarkamasatkritosi viharashayyasana bhojaneshu. Whatever apahasya I do, oh Bhagavan, I get scared imagining those moments where I was wasting my time. Viharashayya asana bhojaneshu. If I don't do these things in the company of Bhagavan, the chances are that I do these for sense gratification, vihara, recreation. Right? Never indulge in recreation for a non-Bhagavad, intention. No, that's what Uddhava says. Shayyatana sanasthana snana krida shanadishu katham tvam priyamatmanam vayam bhaktastyajemati. Oh Krishna, how can we bhaktas give you up in these activities? Shaya, atana, ashana, snana, sthana, krida, in all these different akarmika activities. Akarmika are basically time pass activities. When we go to this vihara, shaya, sanabhojana, is best understood when we look at what we do in the train journey. Either we put headphones, and listen to some music or watch some OTT, things. Vihara recreation, right? Vihara shaya, or just occupy the available berth, go lie down, sleep or sometimes. Shaya asana, or just sit through the window, stare through the window, like just look at something random. Shaya asana, just sit quiet. Or bhojana, every 2 minutes you have something being supplied when you sit in the railway coach. These are the four activities when we don't want to do anything. When we want to refrain from what we are supposed to do, which is a duty. The only four things that we do is these four. Vihara, Shaya, and Arjuna is like, I did apahasa, yaccha apahasartam asatkritaha. This is not sat, this is asatkritaha. Vihara, Shaya, sanabhojaneshu ekothava api achyuta. Even by one of them, or samastam, or with all of them, tatshamaye, please forgive me. Right, that's what he asked. That's because our life is so precious. We have such capabilities. We have such amazing way to positively contribute to the society. And we need to be conscious. This Ishvara etani grihitva sanyati. We have these avayavas, the indriyas, the gunas. What we want to do with them is what we can do for the Bhagavan. Because he takes away the good ones. Our opportunity is limited. Every minute should be dedicated for him. That's primarily how we should understand the context of what are the actions in which the Gunatita gets engaged in. What kind of actions take him there, makes him a Gunatita. And with a clear understanding, he says, Shrotram chakshuh sparshanam cha
श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च
rasanam ghranameva cha
रसनं घ्राणमेव च
adhisthaya manaschayam
अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं
vishayanupasevate.
विषयानुपसेवते.
Let's look at the Padacheda and Anvaya of this one also, Shraddha.
Shrotram, ears, chakshuhu, eyes, Sparshanam, the senses of touch, cha and rasanam, tongue, ghranam, nose, eva also, cha and adhishthaya, grouped around, manah, mind, cha also, ayam, they, vishayan, sense objects, upasevate, savors.
And how does the Anvaya sound like?
Ayam श्रोत्रं चक्षुः च स्पर्शनं रसनं च घ्राणं मनः च अधिष्ठाय एव विषयान् उपसेवते.
Hmm. And what does Aurobindo say for that?
The ear, the eye, the touch, the taste, and the smell, using these and the mind also, he enjoys the objects of the mind and senses as the indwelling and overdwelling soul.
Hmm. This goes one step above what he spoke in the previous shloka. Right? In the previous shloka, he says, Ishvaraha etani grihitva sanyati. He will collect all of this and go. Right? All the good things that we do, we take and go. But one more important thing is, we all think that we have the ear, the eye, shrotraha, chakshuh, sparsha, rasanam, granam. We are thinking we are doing this. I am seeing, I am talking, I am touching, I am feeling, all of this, right? I have the ear, I have the eye, I have the touch, I have the taste, I have the smell. I think all of these are my experiences. What he's telling is, manahacha, along with these, adhisthaya, installing, like adhisthaya, by installing the mind and these five senses, basically it's a reaffirmation of what we heard in the 13th chapter, where he says, sarve indriya guna bhasam, sarve indriya vivarjitam. He doesn't have any organ by himself, but he activates all our sense organs, which means as much as he takes away the good end products of our existence, right, our contribution to this society, even on a day-to-day basis, when we do anything, it is him who has activated our avayavas, our instruments through which we can perform these activities, and also derive some sensible understanding. We have been provided the mind also, the processor for these receptors, information. They are the jnanendriyas, right? They are knowledge receptors. These are the five inlet. Whatever we know, right? At the end of the day, that's true. Our knowledge is all bound to these six instruments, right? Five are the physical signal carriers. Sixth is the processor. And we might be thinking, I am saying, I am hearing, but Vishayanupasevati, the one who is truly experiencing it all, he is that Ishvaraha, right? Because he is the Guna Abhasa. he, he is the Upadrashta, right? He is not Drashta, he is the Upadrashta. He is activated me to be the Drashta, and he is overlooking through what I see. This makes it even more important. We have to be careful with what we use these avayavas for. At the end of the day, these anything I see, anything I hear, anything I speak, anything I smell, I have to keep imagining the Bhagavan there. At the end of the day, he is the one who's experiencing it all. Shayan upasevati. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suhridam sarva bhutana. Nyatva mam shanti mrichati. This is something that he said in the fifth chapter. And similar something he says in the ninth also. Aham hi sarva yajnana bhokta cha prabhurev cha. Na tu mam abhijananti. If you don't know me that way, tatvena tasya vantite. If you don't know the tattva, you will definitely fall or drop or slip. Tatvena tasya vantite. You will just slip up, right? So we have to know it is the Bhagavan. That's the Bhagavad Tattva. When he says Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, no, Mam Yo Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevata. At the end of the day, we have to We need this information, we need this knowledge, primarily to offer that avyabhichari bhakti. All my kriya karya is for him. And it's not that we just surrender, right? We have to be aware while we surrender. And that's what he says next. Utkramantam sthitam vapi
उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि
bhunjanam vagunanvitam
भुञ्जानन् वा गुणान्वितं
vimudhananupashyanti
विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति
पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः.
पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः.
Krishna. Let's see the Paracheta again. No?
उत्क्रामन्तं departing, स्थितं residing, vapi or even, bhunjanam enjoys, va or guna anvitam under the spell of the modes of material nature, vimudhaha the ignorant, na anupashyanti not perceive, pashyanti behold, jnana chakshushaha those who possess the eyes of knowledge. उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वा भुञ्जानं गुण अन्वितं वा अपि विमूढा न अनुपश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः पश्यन्ति. The
What's the Aurobindo
deluded,
interpretation?
the deluded do not perceive him in his coming in and his going forth, or in his staying and enjoying and assumption of quality. They perceive who have the eye of knowledge.
So all these things, that he is the one who takes away all our undertakings of life, the good deeds, etani, gandhani, punyo gandhani, jihitva sanyasi, vayuhu, ashayat gandhani va, right? He takes away all our activities, all the karma imprint, basically it gets attached to our atma, right? And the jivatma has to come back again to do the upabhoga, right? It has to kind of go through that cycle of taking through the prarabdha, one at a time, right? What it's telling is this sloka. The fact is that not everyone is aware of this, right? Only through the eyes of knowledge, jnana chakshusha eva pashyanti. When in the Vibhuti Yoga also, the jnana chakshu is basically the not a special. He says no. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam. That buddhi yoga, that jnana chakshu, only thing that really helps us recognize the Bhagavad Tattva. See, that chapter 10 has some 70 different examples of recognizing the Bhagavan. Here it's just one, right? Look at internally, look at that Anahata Chakra, look at that Angushta Matra Purusha, who's in the Hridesha. So it's the Hridam Sarva Bhutana, right? Hridisarvasya Vishtitam. That's something that we heard in the 13th chapter. See, many of the things that we hear now has been developed a little bit in the 13th and 14th chapters. So the last two chapters, I mean, again, I keep repeating, these are four interconnected messages, right? 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. When we do the daily chanting, we chant them on Friday. This is the Devi Tattva, Bhagavati Tattva. Right? Amazing, if there is a Purusha Shakti, right? Prakriti Purusha, this is the Prakriti. These four chapters are all about Devi. Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Duratyaya. That's extremely difficult. Bhagavan's dearest, whatever you want to call it, right? Mahalakshmi. There is no way we can win her, right? He has a very strong message to Uddhava. And Uddhava says, Tavamayam Jayemahi. He's like, Viddhimayam, Manomayam, know her, understand her, appreciate her. But she is mine, right? We have to. So, all of this fact that we are all one amsha of that Bhagavan, whatever are our undertakings, the end products are all, the good ones are all taken up by that Ishvara. We contribute back to the Bhagavad, not Karya, right? Prakriti, right? The Bhagavad Karya. Right? And it is him who has activated all our instruments, organs, but eventually he is the one who is enjoying it. Right? We keep quoting that song. There is a song, Dasa Sahitya, where the father every year he buys new clothes to the son on the day of the birthday, on the day of Deepavali. And early morning, he derives immense satisfaction when the sun gets up on time, early in the morning, takes some oil bath, with some nice procedures, and then falls into the feet of the father to receive the blessing. So the father's feelings are, seventh heaven at that time. They are elated like crazy. So they are the one who enable that day. They are the one who give the gifts, requisite new clothes, and all the sweets and things like that. They are the one who are enjoying all. Vishayanupasevate. All of this is not seen by the Vimodha. People who are into this, chanda, chandansi yasya personally, right? People who are just admiring this external thrill of the nature, all beautiful, no doubt about it, right? They give us this dukkha, dukkha mityeva. They have that sukha dukkha konantam. They always go between these two extremities. Sukasya anantaram dukkam, sukasya anantaram sukham. One falls into the other. Vimudha, such Vimudha, who Vimudas, they're basically people who tamasa vrita. Right? Tamas is not a very difficult thing. It's the most natural. When we look at today's technological development, every new technological development today means that we become a little more sedentary than what we already are. We already are leading a extremely sedentary kind of a lifestyle. Like Swiggy, everything can come to the fingertips, right? Our food can come, pastries can come, holiday can come, anything can come in the fingertip. We have no idea what is a taxi stand, auto stand, bus stand. Bus stand, at least to travel some intercity people get to the habit of it. Maybe some cities the local stations are there, right? But the technology is basically door to door, desk to desk. This is what appeals to us. Something that pushes us more. Women don't have to cook. You don't have to cook. 2 minutes cook. Right? All of that, making us more and more sedentary. There are many channels in which we are naturally made mudha. So, Sarva Bhutani Sammoham Sarge Yanti Parantapa, he says. At the time of Sarga creation, the Sammoha has been a default design of this, Sarga, of this creation. Right? That's what he says. Sarva Bhutani Sammoham Sarge Yanti Parantapa. But no, Tesham Pantagatam Papam. Then you have to overcome the papa. Jananam Punyakarmanam Te Dvandvamoha Nirmuktaha. That's the Dvandvamoha Nirmuktisti. Bhajante Mam Dridhavrataha. That's all about that bhakti, right? This is all about how to imagine him, right? Vimodhana Pashyanti, people who are so engrossed in this material, gratification, that, that indulgence, excessive indulgence, blinding indulgence. Go for it. But you will not be able to see the Bhagavad Tattva. Some people could be well fine with it. Right? They think that, let me be I am more focused on what I do. I am pure at heart. Right? That's fine. I think that's also fine. Because Bhagavan says next, Yatanto yoginasyaina
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं
pasyantyatmanyavasthitam
पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितम्
yatantoप्यकृतात्मानो
यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो
नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः.
नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः.
So we don't necessarily need to have that jnana chakshu. That's what he says. You can have the jnana chakshu, or yatantah yoginah cha enam pashyanti. Even the struggling yogis, we didn't see the padacheda, no,
Yeah,
Shraddhaji?
we didn't. यतन्तः
We didn't. No, okay, please.
striving, yoginah yogis, cha, to, enam, this, that is the soul, pashyanti, see, atmani, in the body, avasthitam, enshrined, yatanah, strive, api, even though, akrita atmanah, those whose minds are not purified, na, not, enam, this, pashyanti, cognize, achetasah, unaware. यतन्तः
Right?
योगिनः च आत्मनि अवस्थितम् एनं पश्यन्ति अकृत अकृत आत्मानः अचेतसः यतन्तः अपि एनं न पश्यन्ति.
Even if, what does it say? Yogins who strive.
The yogins who strive see the Lord in themselves, but though they strive to do so, the ignorant perceive him not, as they are not formed in the spiritual mold.
So people without proper chetas, which is the Bhagavad chetas, Bhutanam Asmi Chetana, Achetasaha, Akritatmanaha, impure Atma, Akritatmana, impure Atma. These two people, Yatantaha api, even if you are working too hard, struggling too hard, extremely disciplined also, na enam pashyanti, you will not see. But Yatantaha yoginaha, if you are a yogi, if you are striving well enough, Atmani avasthitam enam pashyanti. They will see him who is seated in our Atma. Right? If, no, he will explain that. I think couple of slokas down the line he will explain. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. No, Hridhi sarvasya vishtritam, he said something like that in the 13th chapter. Right? Hridhi sarvasya vishtritam. What shloka is that? Do you remember? Sudhaji, Sudhaji. Hridhi sarvasya vishtritam. Does anyone remember that? ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः. Yeah, something like that. ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम्. So he is there inside everyone in the Atma. That's where he is Atmani Avasthitam. Right? And he is the Jyoti of all the Jyoti. Like we saw earlier, right? In his Paramadhama, it's not the sun, it's not the moon, it's not even the fire, because at the end of the day, even for these, the light is given by him. Right? He is Swayam Prakashit. Jyotisham vitajyoti tamasah paramuchyate. Jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam. Hrivi sarvasya vishtitam. So here he is telling, Yatantaha yoginaha atmani avasitan enam pashyanti. We just need to be dedicated to the work that we do. Today, in our society, we see a lot of such people. People who are just dedicated to their work. They never studied scriptures and things like that, but they have the best of the Vedic wisdom. When they speak wisdom, it will absolutely sound like the Vedokta Bhasha. Right? Sometimes we have some of these very extremely beautiful Gade, we call them. Veda Sullagaru, Gade Sullagaru, something like that. These are the proverbs, the local proverbs, right? They eventually have the message from the Veda only, right? But they have the local saying that sometimes the Vedas can go wrong, but these proverbs will never go wrong, something like that, right? The proverbs are basically wisdom of the society, the great respectable people of the society who stayed true to their dharma all along. Yatantaha yoginaha. And dharma is basically, see, at the end of the day, in Kali Yuga, the only thing that we do is shushruksha. That's the only dharma. We have to serve. Service is the only work that we have to do. Anything that we have to do, we have to serve. Yajnarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Right? So we have to do anything for the paropakara seva. And that those are the kind of etantaha yogina. People in the farming business, right? Predominantly, people from traditional farming business, they have an allegiance, very deep running allegiance, right, to the profession they are into. They have some kind of an attachment to the bhumi, some kind of an attachment to the seasons, some kind of an attachment to their customers, some kind of attachment to the animals. There are some bulls, cows. They are all part of that agrarian lifestyle. Their traditional celebrations, like festivals, they are also evolving around these elements. And they are not, and they are just attached to the Paropakara. For them, the meaning of existence is more about what what service they can provide to the society. Right? Those are the Yatantaha Yogina. They might appear like normally leading the dharmika jivana, grihastha jivana, the family, but very, very disciplined, very, very responsible. Even in the grihastha, they will treat their kids with utmost responsibility. If the dharma need to be ingrained in the child, and if there are extreme steps to be taken that we have to kick the son out of the house for some time, he won't improve in this house. No, they would do that. Not easy for a parent to kick the son out, right? And our previous to previous generation, we have seen plenty of such instances, right? So their entire purpose of even the grihastha ashrama would be in a very, very dispassionate way, very, very responsible way, that the society as a whole will benefit, and there is no downfall of the society, even induced remotely through activities. These are the yatantaha yogina. They can be dedicated yogis who take that. We have these Naga sadhus and all, right? Complete nivritti, right? Take a complete retract from vyapar, from the marketplace, right? Take to the Himalaya, run off to the Himalaya. Yatanta yogina, that's one way of looking at it. And predominantly, I think there are yogis. I mean, when we look at works of people like John Woodrow, right? Arthur Avalon, they are very clear. There was a yogi in every household, right? We had capable people. And these kind of people, whether you study Shastras or not, at the end of the day, Shastras will confirm all the good things. If we want to learn the Dharma Shastra, if we are confused, basically dharmas are codified common sense where the good was, you know, prevailing. Like, at the backdrop of the good prevailing, good over evil. We have to count good over evil. And evil can manifest in different ways. Whenever the dharma, the good prevails, that's where dharma happens. Yasatam dharako nityam sadharma iti nischayah. This is what Krishna tells, right? So yatantah yoginaha, they are the ones who do things for the sake of yajnartha karma. They also will recognize, because karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, right? Yajno vai Vishnu, like they will naturally, at the end of the day, whether we are ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati, right? Whether at one point in time the realization will happen. But if you stay true to the yatna, the yogi, the jivana, the karma yogi jivana, but if you think that I don't need the scriptures, I can look at it myself. If you are akritatma, if you have some ahankara that's taking you somewhere, if you are falling into the trap of the guna, if you become akritatma, impure, you you don't really necessarily stop the vasana from the root. You tend to get carried away. Like how a person coughing, first of all, we shouldn't be coughing as badly as we so often do. Right? We fall so often sick. No doctor goes out of business. The way I see in India, every doctor will have patients lined up. People are so badly, so frequently falling sick. There is something wrong, right? And the worst is when such illness comes also, they refuse to take the treatment properly. They go tadviruddha, right? Akritatma. I have to take the bitter medicine, but I skip the dosage only because it's too bitter for my palate. Right? Akritatma. We do all wrong things. Like, unlike the dogs, we spoke about them, right? The dogs and the cats, they have the Brahma Vidya. When the stomach goes for a toss, they naturally nibble a lot more grass. They go outside when they take the grass. They keep eating a lot of grass. They do that, religious. They never go against the Brahma path, the Dharma, right? The absolute device. absolute design of this creation, they don't go against. What he's telling is, you will be able to recognize that we are all one amsha of this connected consciousness. It's all adding to that. All the good things that we do is adding back to this creation. It is that supreme consciousness which is enjoying all of this. When I look at it all through the jnana chakshu, where somebody gives us an idea, see, so I have to be frank, I got some of this idea after reading the scripture. Wow, and then it looks so appealing. Wow, this is the way I think. It looks so brilliant. All our thoughts are primarily induced, right? So the scriptures perhaps are also inducing, but they mold our chakshu in such a way that they induce with the jnana. Then through the jnana chakshu, we should be able to see utkramantam va, sitam va, bhunjanam va, gunanvitam bhunjanam va. Even when we are deeply engrossed, enjoying all the gunatita, guna pravriddha vishayas, right? Even then, if you can see that it's the Bhagavan who's being offered all of these things. Kramantam va, sitam va, bhunjanam va, gunatina, gunanitam, bhunjanam va, vimodhananu paschanti. If you think you are doing it all, you will not be able to see. Jnana chakshu will be able to help you see that. And you will be able to see even if you're a karma yogi. But not if you don't have a clean atma, even if you struggle a lot. He says, not only working very hard, even if you think you have buddhi, if you think you have a very keen analytical skill, vipaschitah, Krishna says, no? Yatanto, no? Yapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah, indriyani pramathini, haranti prasabham manah. The indriyas can go very weak, even for a vipaschita yati, yogi, one who is struggling a lot. That's why it's important to surrender everything to Bhagavan. That's what he said. No, in the second chapter also, after telling that, no, haranti prasabam mana, he says, tani sarvani sanyamya, yukta asita matparaha. No, surrender everything to me. Tani sarvani sanyamya, yukta asita matparaha, vashihi yasyendriyani, tasya prajna pratisthita. Vasha, your indriyas need to be under the Vasha, under the Bhagavad Vasha, Avasha, certainly. Right? Akritatma comes in that. Akritatma comes when we don't surrender completely. When we think it's all about our sense gratification, then we will often miss the distinction between where we are feeding the vasana and where we are treating the svabhava pravritti, svabhava niyata karma. Right? Many a times we are unable to recognize between the two. Right? And then he says he is the source of everything. Right? Yadadityagatam tejo
यदादित्यगतं तेजो
जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम्
जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम्
यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ
यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ
तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्.
तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्.
I think we'll see this next week, Shraddhaji. I think it's time up now, 10:35. Let's see what What are the actions in which he becomes that? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevati. That's the section that we are currently seeing, in which we are given the the details around Purushottama Tattva. This entire thing is because that Abhyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena is explained. Yo mameva sammudho janati purushottamam sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Right? This bhakti, Abhyabhicharini Bhakti Yogena, all that, Saguna Samatityeita. That's the way we have to overcome the Gunatita, the Gunas, become Gunatita, and Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. We have to pledge to attain the Brahma Bhuti. That should be the aspiration. And Katham Chaitan Srin Gunanati Vartate. How is it even possible to do that? Right? We will see that. Next chapter is all about that. How to. So this is just one part. And every day, if possible, right? If possible, every day. Days I can't, I will not set it up, but most likely it should be possible, 8:30 in the evening, India time. For about half an hour, I thought we will keep some guided chanting of Uddhava Gita, just to gain familiarity, right? Just so that, people, couple of people to get the familiarity. We do that for about 6 days, and the seventh day, right, which becomes the Friday. If I start today, the seventh day is the Friday. Every Friday, 8:30, we can keep 1.5 hours, roughly, where we can cover one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? So that we can develop some familiarity of reading the Bhagavatam, and we can. And this is a decent target if you look at the numbers. One chapter in a week. Within a year, within 1 year, we should be done with about 12 odd chapters. No, I think we can cover a lot with a few years dedicated for on a very easy scale like this. And not that we have to chant every day, right? If we skip 1 or 2 days, I think it should be fine. But most of the times, if we can make ourselves available, I think 8:30 India. Please let me know your thoughts. That's the proposal. Starting today, we'll have half an hour guided chanting for 6 days, and on the seventh day, we look at the shloka by shloka meaning of these shlokas. Right? Please let me know your thoughts. Gita Acharya, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, those of you in good space. We'll meet again next week. Thanks once again, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Shraddhaji, for helping on that. I think one of you can lead and split between Anvaya, Pradipadatta, and things like that. Okay, we'll speak offline, and I think this is nice because from last week when Sujaji took the thing, for me it's much better. I feel a lot relaxed. Otherwise, it's going to be a little too much of multitasking for me to do off on the stage. Okay, with that, let's close the room. 3, 2, 1. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Shri Bharati Ramana Mukhya Pranam Tarata Shri Gopala Krishna Priyatam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.